Songs with the Kinks that have graced the charts for the past 20 years. Now, if he doesn't mind me saying so, a number of his songs were social observation as much as straightforward rock and roll lyrics of lust. Now, for many years, it worked extremely well, but in the post-punk late 70s, the Kinks were having a hard time of it. Why was that, do you think, Ray?
The pre-punk, early 70s, I think we had a hard time because of the, it was all pump rock, you know, mass stadiums and things, and we were in a low point. I think basically because we concentrated on playing in the States, and we didn't play England or Europe.
Did the new broom of the punk era affect you badly, do you think?
Yeah, I think that, no, it affected us well. We were one of the bands, the sort of more established bands that didn't really suffer because of it. I think because we weren't successful. I think that helped us. And also that a few bands like the Jeyem, you know, recorded our songs and took us on as their sort of, I don't know, under their wing, as it were. And there was a lot of good energy then as well. And what people really missed about 1977, Sex Pistols and all that, was a real comedy in it. It was a real humour. And it brought humour back into music.
Because it undermined the pomposity of the early 70s.
I mean, you know, it was like, forgive poor Elton John in big stadiums, you know, and gold watches and all that. I mean, it went back to playing in clubs and playing for people, which was really Kinks music. Yeah, that's where we started.
Why do you think it was the States that rejuvenated the Kinks rather than Britain?
Well, we didn't go to the States when we were having big hits here, because there was a union ban on us for some reason. I don't know why. I won't go into the details of it, but we weren't allowed to go there for about 4 or 5 years. So we decided to go there, and we arrived in America and started playing after having 16, 17 hits everywhere else, and nobody knew us. And we had to start from scratch, play colleges and clubs and build up. Now we're playing sort of Madison Square Garden, places like that.
Was it good fun?
So, yeah, it's good fun, but it was hard work, and it gave us the energy, the aggression, you know, to start again, really.
I was going to ask you about that, because I thought after so much success, it might dull the edge to compete or create or generally get stuck in amongst what must be a really rather hard industry.
It's a very tough industry. It hasn't got any sort of softer, but I don't think it's really changed.
But nonetheless, a lot of your songs have had a lot of compassion, yet you're mixing in a milieu which is without compassion. Is that hard for you to reconcile?
I think at the end of the day, if you write a song, it's a very personal thing. You're in a room, you write the song, and at the end of it, you do a performance to an audience, and you get it through to one person in the audience, or the audience. You go through all that process of the record company, merchandising, TV, plugging, all this. At the end of the day, it's you and an audience, whether it's on a record. So somehow it does go through all that.
You kind of leapfrog all those middle stages.
Yeah, and if you can find something that's good enough and has the quality to sustain through all that, I think it's worthwhile, and we've done that.
A lot of your songs in the 60s, to my mind, certainly, were rather optimistic. They cherished the human spirit, if you like. They criticised certain kind of bad social phenomena. Do you retain that optimism now, 20 years on?
Yeah, I think so. I think like the Marx Brothers, you know, they always, as long as there was somebody who was pompous, the Marx Brothers would go in there and make fun of it. And I'd like to sort of continue to do that, because I went to a fashion show last night. It was an alternative fashion of London for kids who couldn't get their stuff in the chain stores, you know, and just looking at those kids, and they're struggling to get noticed. And you see, even in fashion, there's a kind of a new wave trying to get noticed. It's all around. And I think that in music, when music gets too much of an industry, things have got to change, as it is now. It's so much dependent on merchandising, and there's so much, a new band starting out, it's got so much pressure. If it doesn't make it first time, you know, it doesn't get another chance.
And you're well established, you're well appreciated, you get great criticism, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but don't get fooled. It doesn't get easier because you're well established, you know. Every record you make is your first record.
So you're no more in control of your career than a new band, you're saying?
I'm in control because, you know, more people know who I am, and I've got a larger catalogue of material. But when you go out there, it's like, as they say, I hate the word, but it's running with the pack.
How about your baby?
My baby is thousands of miles away in America with its mum on tour. There's a song on this EP we've put out called Heart of Gold. It's written about the time the baby was born. Our album, State of Confusion, was kind of it was a very, very confusing time for me. And so the album, because of the baby being born and not really having anywhere to live, because I stay in America a lot, and trying to sort out sort of places to live and the baby, house, etc. It became very confusing. But out of this came this song.
What about the little person herself? She's, what, 14 months? Her name's Natalie. You've got another daughter who's, what, 19?
No, she's 17 now.
17.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a lad of 17 and a baby of 16 months.
Yeah.
And the difference between the two, or rather the state I was in when I had each of them...
It's total confusion.
Well, yes. But also, I look at my three children quite differently.
Yeah.
And I'm far more sensitive to every little whim of this little baby.
You know what I think? Because I lost contact with my daughter because I got divorced, I became friends with them more, because I couldn't there was none of that sort of possessive father bit, and therefore I'm not worried about her being an adult, and she, you know, grows up and decides to do it by herself. There's none of that with me. I just want her to do well as a friend.
So there's not that possessiveness.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of that's got to change. I think there's too much of that going on with parents. I see too many parents get, you know, completely flawed when their kids leave home. I mean, I wrote a whole album about that.
I won't pursue you about the album you've written about that, but I'm interested in the play, the musical play you've written, which Channel 4 will be transmitting
Well,
later
that's what
this year.
it is. That's what it's about.
Oh, it is it? Oh, right, I didn't know. What's it called?
Well, it's called Return to Waterloo.
Is that any connection with Waterloo Sunset?
No, not really, not at all.
Oh.
But the guy does get on a train and go to Waterloo Station, but that's as far as it goes.
But this is a free plug. You can tell me what you like about it to encourage viewers to watch it later in the year.
Well, it's not. It's just a show about my commuter man, my well-respected man, and it's sort of looking inside him and finding out how he is now.
Is this a new direction you want to pursue? You not only want to write songs, but to write plays?
I think when I write songs, you see, I write a little plot. The single we had out last year, Come Dancing, was written as a shooting script for a promo as well. I would write a verse, then I'd write a little script for the next scene, and then I made it rhyme and put the melody in. So I think very visually anyway, and it's good because it fits in now, because people do promos and things. And so.
You're also a football supporter. I believe I've heard a vile rumour that you support Arsenal.
Yeah, I used to support Arsenal, but I mean, I would again, but once they get there, there's organisation problems there. I think they've got to...
You reckon you can tell them how to do it, do you?
Well, I think so. I've had enough experience suffering with the other fans.
Do you play much yourself?
Well, I used to play a lot of charity soccer before I went to the States. But now I play in Central Park with, on the west side of New York, where I've got a flat. I play with the Mexicans and all the Brazilian people that live on the west side.
What a great life.
And it's, well, every so often. And it's a different style of soccer entirely.
OK, well, I must stop you there, but thanks very much for coming in. It's a pleasure talking to you. Good luck with the rest of the tour, by the way. We'll leave you all at home with a clip from the Kinks' latest video release, which is called, as you'll have heard Ray say, State of Confusion. That's all from us. Bye-bye.
Could be dreaming, but the nightmare's just begun. There's flooding in the basement, there's water all around, there's woodworm in the attic, and the ceiling just fell down. I'm in a state of confusion. I'm in a state of confusion. All the dirty dishes are still in the kitchen sink. The tumble dryer's broken, now the telly's on the blink. The girlfriend packed a bag and moved out to another